Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and the return to the channel of one of the constructors I admire most in the world of Sudoku. It is Icy Fruit, and frankly Icy Fruit has a back catalogue and there are many puzzles on there I want to try, but they're 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty, and I'm loath to put 2-hour video after 2-hour video on the channel. So I always look out to see if Icy Fruit has a new puzzle which is potentially less than a 2-hour one, and this has 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty. We've already had recommendations to try it. It's called Close Enough, and you'll note if you look at the grid it looks like ordinary killer Sudoku, and it is nearly, except all of the cage totals have been rounded to the nearest multiple of 5. So that 30 cage, I guess it could be, no, it could be, I was going to say it could be 27. No, 27 would be round, the nearest multiple of 5 would be 25. So it's either 28, 29, 30, 31 or 32 is how that's going to work, which is a fascinating idea. And I saw one of the comments which said that this was the perfect Sudoku for engineers, which presumably means engineers always work with rounding errors. I do not know if that's true. I am not an engineer, but for any of you out there who are engineers, you might be able to advise us. Anyway, this is what I'm going to be having a go at today. I'm looking forward to it very much. Now, other news. What do I have to tell you? There's a crossword video on the channel today, so do have a look at that if you want to get into cryptic crosswords. That went out. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. We've got a competition running, which has still got about a week to run. James Bond themed Sudoku hunt. Lots of you have been managing to crack the puzzles in that hunt, all of which seem to have been set by some nefarious characters. Those of you familiar with James Bond will probably recognise some of those. Now, what else? Now, if you don't mind, and you'll let me if you'll indulge me just for a minute or two, I would like to read you an email that we were absolutely tickled pink by. We got sent this email from Sofia, and I'm just going to read it. Hello, Simon and Mark. I hope you are well. Maverick has taken off. Sorry, that's not in the email. That's loud Maverick as well. I don't know. I apologise. Some people ask why I call the gentleman or lady who flies past my window Maverick. Well, it's from Top Gun. That's why. I think, didn't Maverick used to do fly pasts? I think in the first film Maverick did fly pasts. I could be misremembering. Anyway, let's return to this email. Hello, Simon and Mark. I hope you're well. My name is Sofia, and I'm from Sweden. I followed your channel for a while and have really enjoyed it. I especially like putting on Simon's videos when I struggle to sleep due to your calm voice, and Mark's videos while travelling to make the time go faster. My mother is a maths teacher for grade 1 here in Sweden, 7-year-olds, and recently I was asked to do some of her classes. On approval from my mum, I did Sudokus with all 3 classes. Since they're young, we did mostly 4x4 Sudokus, with the numbers 1 to 4, or 9x4 with 6 3x2 boxes containing the numbers 1 to 6. I put on your videos in the background, and a bunch of the kids were so surprised by how the board was empty, or had 1 or 2 digits in, and you still managed to solve it. Some of the kids sat in front of the boards watching, saying, "I want to be like him." It was so beautiful to watch these kids be so amazed by Sudoku. After that, several parents asked my mum what they were watching because the kids wanted to watch it at home. Even though they don't speak English, they love watching you two put new digits into the board and asking their parents what is happening. They are, according to my mum, begging daily for another Sudoku lesson with me and to watch more of your videos in class. I want to thank you for your videos, for putting out an hour or 2 of entertainment every day for us, and for inspiring these kids to learn more about Sudoku. You've been an inspiration to around 75 kids who don't even speak English. It is truly amazing. Sofia, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That is absolutely what made our day. And isn't it? I mean, that is astonishing. I could almost understand it if it was if the kids spoke English, but for them to be absorbed by our videos when they can't understand what we're saying is it is absolutely unbelievable. And I suppose there might be a small lesson there. I mean, we're very, very keen, as many of you know, on trying to broaden the appeal of Sudoku to kids. I think it's a fantastic way for children to learn sort of logic and arithmetic skills that will hold you in good stead forever. So it is wonderful when we hear stories like that, and I'm sure more can be done as well. So Sofia, thank you for sharing it. And I've got some birthdays to do as well, so let me do those. Frank, you've turned a secret number today, and I know this because your wife Lynn wrote to us and said that you, with Sudoku, have all the enthusiasm of an 8-year-old. I hope you have an 8-year-old's chocolate cake for your birthday as well, Frank. Many happy returns. Next, to the enigmatically named Hij12sh. I do not know if I meant to pronounce that differently, but Hij12sh. It's your birthday. Many happy returns. Pauline, it's your birthday, and I know this because your friend Emma wrote to us to tell us how proud she was of you. I know you've been recovering from a broken foot. I hope that is now firmly on the mend, and you have chocolate cake today. Andrew, I think you turned the big 6-0 quite recently. I know this because Maya wrote to us and also sent a picture of a quite extraordinary cake, which I believe is a Mark II Jaguar. It's absolutely amazing, and it looks like it's got a fair amount of chocolate icing, so very well done, Maya, on creating that. Caroline, you've turned 6 today, and I know this because your godmother, your Aunt Amy, wrote in and said you'd appreciate a shout out, and apparently you like it when we use pink. I do not know if I'm going to have the chance to use pink today, but there's some pink for you. That's as close as we can get to pink anyway. And Lauren, it's your birthday, and I know you're over there in Brooklyn, New York City, and your roommate Mohan said that you'd appreciate a shout out, and you watch the channel 24/7. Well, thank you for doing that, and I hope you have a great birthday today. It's a long time since I've been to New York. I would like very much to go back there fairly soon, if only time would permit. Anyway, let's turn our attention to doing some Sudoku solving. Close Enough by Icy Fruit. These are the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Digits may not repeat within a cage. Yeah, okay, I was about to say that doesn't matter in this puzzle, but it does. There are a couple of cages, 3 cages perhaps, where digits could repeat and still obey the rules of Sudoku, so we do need that rule. Cage clues show the sum of the digits in that cage rounded to the nearest multiple of 5. So this is what we were saying before. So let's think about a 10 cage. So that must be 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12, extrapolating from what I learned earlier when I did the 30 cage example. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I'm tempted to start in the middle box. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else more, or maybe, I don't know. I mean, the secret is telling me that these cages seem too high. Yeah, maybe either box 5 or box 3 is where we need to look. So let's just think about this for a moment. So what is the secret? The secret is something I share with only my very favourite people. And if you're watching this video, then of course you're one of my favourite people. So I'll certainly tell you. The secret is that the 9 digits in Sudoku, which must occupy this box, sum to 45. That's what the digits 1 to 9 sum to. So we know that the overall total for this box is 45. But we've got cages here that sum to 50 on the face of it, and we haven't even included that digit. Yeah, okay, so I think this is forced, because the minimum this cage can possibly sum to is 28. The minimum this can sum to is 8, and the minimum this can sum to is 8. And 16 plus 28 is 44, which means this digit has to be a 1. in order to make sure the box overall adds up to 45, and we have to work within those parameters. So these two 10 cages do sum to 8, and now they aren't a 1-7 pair. So the two 10 cages are going to have to be a 2-6 and a 3-5 pair, and the 30 cage is going to be 4-7-8-9. So that's remarkably generous of Icy Fruit. Icy Fruit's puzzles, normally you have to stare at them for about 25 minutes before you can do anything. Right, let's have a look at this box then. So this time we've got two cages that add to 40, except they might add up to as little, I suppose, as 18 each. Well, 18 each would give us 36, which means the maximum value of those three squares is 9. Which doesn't mean they need to have a 1 in them, because 2, 3 and 4 do also add up to 9. So, okay, so that's less useful. This box, I didn't think this one was going to be as good, because we've only got 35's worth of cages. Yeah, so that's much less constrained than this one. Yeah, it is, because we could have 8, 8 and 13 here, couldn't we? And that means 29, which means these could add up to 16. And 16 is a very average number for three Sudoku digits. Obviously, an average Sudoku digit is of size 5, so 15 would be bang average. See, normally in Sudoku, when you see a 10 cage with 4 cells, you know it has to be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Well, okay, this cage, it can't add up to less than 10, because you can't repeat a digit in a cage. So I was just checking the rules there. You can't repeat a digit in the cage. So the triangular number for 4, i.e. what is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, is 10. So because these digits all have to be different, the minimum sum of this cage is 10, but it could be as high as 12. Right, so it has got definitely a 1 and a 2 in it. Because if you try and make, try and leave a 2 out, 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 13, and 13 is more than 12. There is a knowledge bomb. So this definitely has 1 and 2 in it. Oh, hang on, I've got a 10 cage in one cell here. I didn't see this. So that must be 8 or 9. 10, 25, 40, 45 is also... Hang on, so 45 is the total for those 6 cells. So if we drop all of these by as much as we can, that could be 13, 8, and 18, which is 6 less. Oh, I see, it's 6 less than the maximum. Yes, okay. So because I know the triangular number for 3 is 6, I could have done this differently. That must be a 1, 2, 3 triple. We can do that longhand by saying the absolute minimum value of this domino is 13. The minimum value of this cell is 8, and the minimum value of these 3 cells is 18. And 18 plus 13 plus 8 is 39, I think. And 39 would require these cells to add up to no more than 6, but that's also the minimum these can add up to if they're 1, 2 and 3. So these are 1, 2 and 3. This is 8. These do add up to 13, which is either going to be 4, 9 or 6, 7. So there is definitely a 5 in the 20 cage at the bottom. And then whatever's not used in this 13 cage will provide the other 18's worth of, the other 13's worth of digits once added to the 5 to give us the 18 we need. So I've got 2 digits now. That 5 cage looks dodgy. I'm going to have a look at that. I'm just going to have a quick think about this 8 in the context of that 30 cage at the top. The minimum value of this is 28. So does it have to have 8 in it? If it was 9, 7, 6, 5, it would only add up to 27. Yes. Okay, so there's definitely an 8 in this cage, which means there's definitely an 8 in one of those 3 cells. Can you put an 8 in here? Sure. No, you can't. Because remember, the maximum sum of this is 12. So if we put 8 into this square, these 3 digits would have to add up to 4. And even if they're 1, 2, and 3, they would add up to 6. So well, if that's 4, 9, you definitely have to have a 9 in a 30 cage. So if that's 4, 9, there would be a 9 here, and this would be an 8, 9 pair. But if that's 6, 7, you probably have to have, let me think about it, 9, 8. Yeah, 9, 8, 4, 5 isn't enough either, is it? Because 9, 8, 4, 5, I think, is 26, which is less than the 28 required. So even if this is 6, 7, it's got to have at least one of those digits in it, a 6 or a 7, or both. Ah, but that's really annoying. Because that means if it was a 6 in here, the 6 could go there, I think. It wouldn't have to be in this domino. Because you can put 6 in a 12 cage if it's got 1, 2, 3 in it. Okay, let's change tack then. Maybe it's this 5 cage. So... And the reason this catches my eye is that I can see I can't include more than one very low digit in it. So there's no way this can add up to 3, for example, because that would make it a 1, 2 pair. It can't be add up to 4, that would make it a 1, 3 pair, which would make both of those cells a 2. If it adds up to 5, that might be possible actually. It couldn't be a 2, 3 pair, but perhaps it could be a 1, 4 pair. Does it... Yes, I suppose... Okay. It must have a low digit in it. Like it must have one of 1, 2, and 3 in it. Because if it didn't, its minimum sum would be 4 plus 5, which is 9. So actually, that digit, whatever that digit is, that digit lives in that 5 cage, definitely. Because the 1, 2, or a 3 that's in this 5 cage must be one of those cells, and by Sudoku it's therefore this one. So it's down there somewhere. Okay, no, that's not true. Okay, bobbins, I don't know what to do with that. If this is an actual 10 cage, then these, well, it would then be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these squares there would be like a quadruple in this column on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, okay. Sorry, so maybe it's not this row. Maybe it's this box actually, because those 2 digits can't go in the 30 cage unless my maths has deserted me. Because the 30 cage could be a minimum, of 28. So if I put let's say I put a 3 in it, then the other 3 digits could be a maximum of 7, 8, 9, which add up to 24, and 24 and 3 is 27, which is not 28. Right, so these 2 digits, let's give that a colour. Those 2 digits, actually by Sudoku, are those 2. Which is probably interesting. Let's actually label them up then. So they're from 1, 2, and 3. And So now, what does that mean? I don't know. Can we do anything with that? Those two digits are low digits, and they have to live in that box. And we know those, what did those three squares add up to? We didn't know because we don't know what these boxes add up to, but it's at least, or a maximum of 30, 45, 9, a maximum of 9. Ah, okay. Ah, that's good. Right, this digit is not low. Right, so I know very few things about 3 cells in Sudoku that have to sum to 9 with different digits. Here are the 2 things I know. The first is that there are 3 ways of making the total. 126, 135 and 234. So that's the first thing I know. The second thing is if you look at those 3 options, they always have 2 low digits in them. 2 of the digits 1, 2 and 3. So whether this adds up to 9 or some lower number, I know that there must be 2 low digits in this triomino. Now, goodness me, Maverick, what on earth are you flying today? Those 2 low digits cannot be here, because if this is a 1, 2, if both of these digits are from 1, 2 and 3, I've got too many cells in row 3 that are low. So that must be of 1, 2 or 3, and one of these squares must be, I don't know how to pencil mark this, from 1, 2 and 3, like this. One of these must be low, which means this digit cannot be low, because there's effectively a triple in this row now. Okay, now is that useful? Possibly. This square now is in a 10 cage and is not able to be 1, 2 or 3, so it must be 4, 5 or 6. Okay, it's not 6 for a lovely reason, I think. Yeah, if it's 6, we know that these 3 digits cannot add up to more than another 6, because this whole cage can't add up to more than 12. So if that is 6, these 2 squares have to be from 1, 2 and 3. And this square... Oh, maybe this is the more general point. Oh, it is. This is really good. Right, I hadn't realised this, but I have now. This square can't be a 1, 2 or a 3, full stop. Because if it is, now from a sort of Sudoku perspective, I'm going to force a 1, 2 or a 3 into the 30 cage. That's beautiful. And we can't put a 1, 2 or a 3 in the 30 cage. So that square simply cannot be a 1 or a 2. But we know that this cage does contain a 1 or a 2, so I now know these 2 digits are 1. They are. How do I do this? This is a 1, 2 pair, definitely. That's our digit. That's a 3 here by Sudoku. Oh, good. That was fabulous. So now, well, now this digit. Right. So now I see. So now this is a 4 or a 5. In fact, we know that this is a 12 cage. Because we know this is not low, it can't be a 1, 2 or a 3. It must be a higher digit. Let's say it's 4. We know this is at least 5 now. And these are a 1, 2 pair, but we can't make this add up to more than 12, so we must make it add up to exactly 12. And okay, and that digit we know those 2 digits go in there in box 1. So now right, so now these digits, we know one of these is low. We now know it's a 3. We know this digit must be a 1 or a 2, but we don't know which one it is compared to the original colouring. I'm sorry about the aeroplane noise. I didn't realise that Maverick was going to have an air show this afternoon, but I did want to open my window because it's sort of a nice day. So, what does that mean? So now one of these low digits is going to be forced into an enormous cage that must add up to at least 18. So either 1 or 2 is going to be in one of these cages. Yes, so whichever cage that is, that cage will have a 9 in it. Because even if it's a 2 and it only adds up to 18, the balancing 2 digits would have to sum to 16, and 16 requires a 9 in the form of a 9-7 pair. So, and it could add up to more than that. It could be a 9, it could be a 19 cage with a 2, or it could be a 1 with a 9 and an 8 to add up to 18. We just don't know. Right. So now 3 in box 1. We know 3 doesn't live in the 30 cage, so 3 is oh, I don't want to do that. I want to put it in the corner. Well, not in the corner of the box, but in the corner of the cells. So 3 is in one of those squares by Sudoku. Oh, no, nearly. I thought I might be able to restrict the 1 into a useful corral in box 4, but I can't. Because by Sudoku, obviously this 1-2 pair means these squares aren't 1. By Sudoku, these aren't 1. By Sudoku, that digit can't be a 1 because there's a 1-2 pair above it. So the 1 I think is in 3 different positions, which is probably not worth a pencil mark. Right. So now what do we do? I don't know. These digits only include 1 of 1 and 2, but they can't add up to more than 9. So they don't write. So these digits don't include 6 anymore, because if they included 6, there would have to be a 1-2 pair here. 6, 1 and 2 is the only way of keeping 3 digits down to 9, and we can't use 1 and 2 in this triple. So these digits are very low. There's a 3, 4, 5 triple in row 3, and that means the other cells, I'm going a bit ham on the pencil marking here, these have to be 6, 7s, 8s and 9s. Oh, okay, I don't know what to do with that. Maybe I can do something with this. 15 cage. Wow. No, I'm not prepared to do it. I mean, the thing is, if this was only a 13 cage, it could be 4. It could have a 4 in it. So all we actually know about this cage is it doesn't contain 1s, 2s and 3s. I was wondering about this digit in box 6, but I mean, I think it's in one of those 4 cells, but that's all I know. That digit. No, I don't think it feels close to doing something. The 10 cage here, does it have to have a high digit in it, like a 6, 7, 8 or a 9? If it added up to 8, no, it doesn't. It could have 5 and 3 in it or something like that, couldn't it? So so it doesn't have to have a 6, 7, 8 or a 9 in it. It very nearly does. Do we know more about this 5 cage now? We know it doesn't have 3 in it. And we know it doesn't have... So it's got green in it. Those digits in the 20 cage have all got to be... Yeah, that's interesting. What's that doing? This is doing something. Those 3 digits there, they don't include 1, 2, or 3. So they are at least 5, 4, 5, and 6, which add up to 15 on their own. Oh yeah, but this doesn't have to add up to 20, does it? It could add up to 22. So these 2 digits could add up to as much as 7. Okay. Although they couldn't add up to 7 if these were 4, 5, and 6, because there would be no combination of dominoes that you could, because 4, 3, 5, 2, and 6, 1 would be ruled out. So these don't add up to 7. That's impossible. They must add up to 6 or less, which means, because they can't be double 3, they must have they must have a 1 or a 2 in them. Okay, that's orange then. Oh, this is great. So I'm going to get my colouring sorted out, because yeah, there's no way to make 6 in a domino without using a 1 or a 2. Or a maximum of 6. These could add up to less than 6, but because we can't double 3 the domino, it must have a low digit in it. That low digit is not that low digit, and we know that there is a low green digit here. So this must be a low orange digit, which means that digit is green. Oh, I don't know what this one is. Imagine if that was green. Then I would know green was here and green was here. That would be useful. So hang on. So these digits are for these. Right, these are from. I don't really want to do this. I was going to say because they can't add up to more than 6. They're from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh. Surely you can't. Actually, I'm not sure what I was about to say is true. I was wondering about 9 in row 7. Can I put 9 in this 20 cage? If I put 9, 4, 5, that's 18. This could be a 1, 3 pair. It's the only way I think you could. That would be it. No, I can't. I mean, that might break for some reason, but I can't immediately see why. What's the maximum value of this? 7. So this definitely doesn't. So this definitely doesn't have any digit in it that's higher than 6. What about, okay, maybe we do 7, 8, and 9 in this row then. Can I put 2 of them in there? If I put 2 of 7, 8, and 9 in the 20 cage, the minimum they would be is 15. If we put 7 and 8 in, and then the other digits at least 4. So that's 19 for these, but this could add up to 20. But this could add up to 22, but we can't make that a 1, 2 pair. Because the green low digit is unavailable. Right, so that is useful. So the question we should have asked is where are 7, 8, and 9 in this row? And the answer to that is we can only put one of them in the 20 cage. We could put none of them in the 5 cage. So there's 1 in here, none there, none in those 2. So these have to be from 7, 8, and 9. And we know that's not 8. Not 8. So this digit is now low. Well, lower. It's 4 or 6. And there's 1 of 7, 8, and 9 in here. looks like it's... If this digit is not 6, that's a quadruple in column 4. I'm just going to come back and think about this again. So I now know there's one high digit in here. So let's say it's 7, which is the lowest high digit it could be. Then I'd have 745 minimum, which is 16. Oh, that's the same logic as before then. These have to add up to 6, or a maximum of 6. So I haven't learnt any more. And the technical expression for that is bobbins. That feels like it should be under more pressure. What am I not understanding there? Right. Yeah. I think... But, yeah... I'm not being very articulate here, but... Yeah, I can see now... I'm seeing all sorts of things. I think that square's a 3. That's what I think I've just seen. But I think there might be a simpler way of seeing what I've just seen. I think... I'll tell you how I've seen it, and then I can think... I'm just trying to understand why 29. Okay. Right. The way I've seen it is there's a restriction on these two squares is as follows. This is the way I first saw it. I think I can see a better way of explaining it now. I was thinking about. I knew there was a high digit in here, and I was thinking about the middly digits. Therefore, because I've got a floating 1, 2, 3 triple. I've got a floating 7, 8, 9 triple. And so I was thinking about the 4, the 5, and the 6. Now I know one of those is in here, and 2 of them are in here. But if you think about it, these squares down here, they include one very low digit. But they see, therefore, the 4, the 5, and the 6 that appear in these cells, because wherever the 2 middly digits are here, they can't repeat in the cage. And whatever's not in this cage that's a middly digit is here, and it sees those digits. So I could see these had to be low digits, like not involving 4, 5, and 6. So they have to be 1, 2, and 3. And then I could see that, which meant this couldn't be a 3. So that's how I did it. That's how I was thinking in my head. But it now occurs to me that the better way of thinking about it might have been, and I haven't thought this through yet, to view this great big T shape here. Oh, we should make it pink for Caroline. It was Caroline, wasn't it, who likes pink. So this great big T shape. Now, those are all different Sudoku digits, because these two can't repeat down here. So these are 7 different Sudoku digits, and the absolute maximum value of these 7 different Sudoku digits is if we make that 22 and that 7, which is 29. So these either add up. The triangular number for 7 is 28. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 is 28. So what we're actually learning now is this is either an absolute minimum collection of digits, or there's one degree of freedom, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So it's one of those things. There is no 9 in this cage. So the 9 is in one of those two positions in row 7. We know one of these is a 3 by that logic, because this must have a 3. This great big T must have a 3 in it. And from here, we know it's down here. But I don't think that's actually improved our lot in life, because we sort of already knew that via my middly digit mechanism. Okay, so maybe this 10 cage is under pressure now. How can that not have a 4 or a 5 in it? It must... if there was no 4 and no 5 in this cage, it would be a 6 plus 7, which is 13. And 13 cannot be 13 because its maximum sum is 12. So there is a 4 or a 5 in here. I don't really know how to... it's that sort of pencil mark, which means that the rest of this column, I suppose it's only those 3 digits. These 3 digits have to be whopping great digits. They can't include 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. Is that helpful? Perhaps not. Okay, let's go back to that digit now then. Again, I don't know what colour it is. I mean, I know it's either green or orange, but that digit needs to find a home in this box. And I don't think that, well, that home is not here now by Sudoku, and it doesn't go in a 15 cage because it's too little. And we need this to add up to at least 13. So if it's got a 1 or a 2 in it, the other digit would be too big to be in a Sudoku. So this cell, or this thingy here, contains that digit. Because I don't know what this is, I'm going to use a letter to just indicate that. It's got to... That digit there is in one of those 2 squares. For sure. Which might be useful. He says, desperately trying to work out how. The minimum sum of this is now a 4 and a 6, which is 10. So it's either 10, 11, or 12. This adds up to. No, I haven't got this, sorry. Okay. Oh, this is quite complicated, actually. 3. Oh, I see. No, it's not too bad. Where's 3 in box 6? That's what I should have asked. You can't put 3 in a cage that adds up to at least 13. So that's a 3, I wanted to say. Right, so that's not 3. And we know this is a domino that adds up to 8, don't we? So that's not 5. That's not 3 anymore. Right. Now, I know this 10 cage contains that digit there, which is a tiny digit. So the other tiny digit that must live in this box is not in there with it, because otherwise this cage would add up to 3, and it needs to add up to at least 8. Now the tiny digit is not in here, because even if it was a 2 and went with a 5, it would only add up to 7, and we know that this adds up to at least 8. We know it doesn't go in there, so that digit is a 1 or a 2. That is green or orange. This digit is no longer 2. This digit is no longer 6, therefore. I don't know. Okay, no, we can go further. So now in this column, A, remember that's a low digit. This is a low digit, so that can't be a low digit. There we go. This square here is low digit and it's green. But I still don't know how to divide these up. One of them is green, one of them is orange. I still don't know which way around it goes. At least I don't think I do. That is a middly digit. which we know is 4, 5 or 6 by the logic we were looking at before. That's probably helpful. Oh, I see. Right. Let's go back up to this box. Because we worked out that one of these 20 cages had to have a low digit in it, an orange digit. Well, it now can't be this one, because neither of these squares can be 1 or 2. So there must be an orange digit up there. And that means that can't be 6, because we worked out that the minimum total is, well, the minimum total for this is 18. So even if it's got a 2 in it, it's partnering up with at least a 7, 9 pair. So okay, so there is definitely a 9 in there, is what we've learned. That's another thing we've learned. These squares are made up of, these two squares are made up of 1, 2, 1 or 2, and 7, 8 or 9. But one of them is a 9. Which means there's no 9 in my 15 cage now. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is icy fruit. I mean, we might as well use those things synonymously. Right. So if there's no 9 in the 15 cage, what other digit is not in that 15 cage? The only way this 15 cage could have had a 4 in it is if it was 4, 9 and added up to 13. It cannot be that now because there's a 9 up here. So that means that 4 in this box lives somewhere else. Well, where? It can't live in the 10 cage with an A, because A is a 1 or a 2, and the maximum 4 plus 2 is 6, it's not 8. So it doesn't live there, so it must live here. So this cage definitely has a 4 in it, which means that square is definitely a 5. Which means that's a 4, that's a 5. This is now a 6, that's a 2. This is just beautiful. It is beautiful. And does that mean we know this now? If that's not got 4 in it, and it has got 5 in it. I don't know, let me think about that. So this has got 2 digits in it that add up to 13. I don't know that we know it. We know there's got to be a 9 in here as well. That's certainly true. So we're up to 22. So the other digit is 6 or 7, but we don't know what. We don't know which, I don't think. And the digit that's 6 or 7 that's not used in this cage will go in there, along with 3. Which is very annoying. So, well, no, what I was about to say is nonsense. So if this has got 4 in it, what's the other digit that it's got in it? 6, 7 or 8, I suppose. That's not useful, is it? I mean, I don't really even want... I suppose I could pencil mark it. Because it has to add up to 10, 11 or 12 now, because it can't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in it. So the other digit is higher than 4, but it mustn't break the upper cap on this cage, which is 12. Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, so do I now know, is there definitely a 5 in my 15 cage? I think there is, probably. Because if the 5 goes in here with the A digit, remember A is 1 or 2, then this could only add up to a maximum of 7, and 7 is not 8. So if it was 7, this cage total should have been listed as 5. Right, so there is a 5 in here, definitely. Oh no, it's not quite doing it. Oh, bother. There's a 5 in here. There's a great big digit up here. What's the restriction here? This has to add up to at least... Oh, I see. No, that's great. No, it's fine. It's fine. We can keep going with the logic in this box. Right. We know that this cage adds up to at least 13, don't we? Well, how does it get that high now? The only way is if it's got to be 5/8, because it can't have a 9 in it. So it is 5/8, which means those squares up there include 7 and 9, and they have to add up to at least 18. So now we'll get everything from this. Oh, we're there. When I say there, I'm being probably optimistic, but if 2 of these digits add to 16, but we know that these have to add up to at least 18, the orange digit that we're summing with them must be 2. So all we're going to get is 1. Well, we get orange is 2, we get green is 1, and actually green might be the easier digit to place. Look, that's extraordinary. That's really not done very much at all. Right, there's no 8s in any of these. Oh, that's so strange. What are these 2 digits at the bottom of the column? 4, 6 pair, is it? So that's become a 5. Okay, so this is not a 6 then. So this is a 7, 8, 9 triple in this box. These squares are a 4, 6 pair by Sudoku, because we've effectively got a 7, 8, 9 triple now. And that's a 6, right, so that's a 6 and that's a 4. So this is not 6 anymore. And the upshot of that, which is very important, is going to be, that's not 6, 7, 8, 9 triple in this, so that is 6 here. That 6 can't repeat in this 15 cage, so we can think about that. Do we know... Oh, here's a point. Yeah, okay. Does this 5 cage have to have an orange digit in it? If it didn't, its minimum sum, if there's no 2 in this cage, it could be 3 and 5 are the next 2 lowest digits, and 3 and 5 add up to 8, and that would suggest this should have been a 10 total. So there is an orange digit in here, and I know where it goes. It goes there. So that's a 2, and we know that's an orange digit, according to my colouring anyway, so I'm going to believe it. That's now a 3, which is not orange. So that's completely orange, that's completely orange, that's completely green. This is not green. Does that digit have to be 5 then? Because it can't be 1, 3, 4 or 6. So if it's not 5, it's 7, and that's too big. Right, so that's, whoops, that's 5. This is 8, so that's not 8. So this must be 7 or 9. Now I've got a 4, 4, 7, 8, 9 quadruple in column 4. The 4 of which is in the top domino, so these don't include 4. Now I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple in column 5. Right, so this 10 cage has got suddenly very constrained, because it doesn't have 6, 7, 8 or 9 in it. So its maximum sum is 9 if it was a 4-5 pair. Does it have to have 5 in it? Yes. If it didn't have 5 in it, it would be a 4-3 maximum, and 4 and 3 only add up to 7. I like this puzzle very much. Right, so this has got 5 in it, so that's a 5, that's a 3. There is a 3 in one of those 2 places, which is probably, we can probably do something with that. In this column as well, we've got loads going on. We've got a 1, 2, 3 triple. Sorry, this has been available for ages. That can't be 2. That can't be 1. This is not a 3, because 3 plus 2 would be forced, and this cage would only add up to 11. It needs to add up to at least 13 because it's a 15 cage. So that's a 7. Now that must fix this, doesn't it? Because we now know this adds up to 22 at the moment. It's got one more digit to come. Oh yeah, the way to see that is we've got to put a 3 not in this cage. So we do now know the composition of this 30 cage. It is 5, 6, 8 and 9, adding up to 28. And there's no 8 on its right hand side. This is not a 5 by Sudoku. We need 6, 8 and 9 into these squares. That's not 8. There's definitely an 8 look in one of those 2 squares by Sudoku. This is now oh, it's not going to matter. This is adding up to 13 plus this digit, so it either adds up to 15 or 16. So this cage is no longer going to be a sort of discriminator. Yeah, this is a reasonable question. Where's 1 in column 5? It can't accompany the 5 in here, or this cage only adds up to 6. So I think we've got to put the 1 at the bottom. So 1, 3, 2, 1. We can now do some more colouring. Let's not neglect that. This is actually... Have we done... Well, we know we haven't really. I still don't know how to disambiguate this part of the grid, which is really weird. No, Alright, so this digit is now by Sudoku, it is 7, 8 or 9. But whatever we partner it up with will work from the 10 perspective. Okay, I don't see immediately how to resolve that. 5, 8. Oh, I'm not sure. Sorry. Let's try. Oh, I know what this is. This doesn't include 7. By Sudoku, this is 4, 6 and 8, isn't it? Which adds up to 18. And the reason that's important is no, it's not done. What's the digit that has to accompany the little digit in here? That's at least a 6. Which means 4 in this column is at the top, but we already sort of knew that. Okay, maybe this column? 3. Oh yeah, where's 3? 3 has to go there in this column. So that digit at the top is 7, 8 or 9. Oh, that's weird. So this has become a 4, 5 pair by Sudoku. That's jolly useful for the following reason. Brain. Oh, there must be a 2 in the corner. No song for that, but it's still worthwhile having. Oh, that's good. So this is 9. That's 7. Okay, so we can get rid of the colouring from this one. Now, does that do anything? Maybe not. It gives us... It means these 2 squares are now an 8, 9 pair, which gives us a 7 here. Yeah, it's sort of... There's a 7 in this domino now, in this column. This 7, 8, 9 triple, the 7 is in the lower position, so we can get these reduced. I've got a 1, 2 pair. So 4, 6, 7, no, 6 can come out of that one by Sudoku. Maybe that's the key. This digit is 4, 7, 8 or 9. There's loads of high digits in this column again, aren't there? So where are... I don't know. Oh, bobbins, what's going on? I still don't know how this finishes. I think this could still have a 9 in it, but maybe that's wrong. Oh, I've got a 5 here. Okay, so we can do a bit more Sudoku there. That gives me an 8 there if I trust my pencil marks. Ah! I just noticed I had an 8 corner marked into this box, which means I can take 8 out of these squares. It's still not doing it. It's not. Do we need... Perhaps there's some reason that we can't... If this is 4, 9, that would be 7. Do we know whether that's a problem? That would be 9. 7, 9. This would be 8. This would be 4. That would finish this box. Actually, that would probably be useful. That's probably the right answer, I would guess. So why can't... If this is the right answer, why can't this be 6, 7? Is there a reason? That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. If this is 6, 7, 6 is up here, that's 6, that's 9. What does this add up to? Oh, that's got 5 in it, hasn't it? And then, oh, it would be a 4, it would be a 4, 9 pair down here. That would put 6 in the corner on this square. Oh, I haven't thought about the sum of this 20 cage. Do I have to? 15, I'm on it. Oh, goodness. That's huge. It's this. This there. Caroline, I'm going to pinkify this naughty little square for you, because that's actually quite... It's massive, actually. I think my maths just told me that had to be a 7, and if that's true, that could even finish the puzzle. Because we've got 15, this can't add up to more than 22, or it wouldn't have a 20 clue. So I think that makes this a 7. And that seems to immediately be doing all sorts of gubbins. That's become an 8 at the top. That becomes a 9. That becomes an 8. That becomes a 9. That becomes an 8. That becomes a 9. That becomes a 7. That becomes an 8. So now I get a 4, 9 pair here, which means this is 7. This is 8. This 9 makes that 9 and that 4. Which makes that 7, and that makes that 9 and that 4, which makes that's done it. I don't believe it. That's so peculiar. But I'm very relieved, actually. I couldn't see what to do. So that's 7, and that's 5. And that adds up to 18, which looks correct, doesn't it? You can't put 9 into this, so this becomes a 6, 8 pair. That becomes 5, that becomes 9. 5, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8. Still haven't done the 1s and the 2s, which is very strange. 9. Okay, let's have a look at 3 must go there by Sudoku. So it's going to be this one, I think. Well, this is... that's a 2 by Sudoku. Because we've only got 1 and 2 left to place in this column, and it can't be a 1. And that's going to finish off all of the other colouring, look. So we can start to track these through. So these are both 1s. That's 2. That's now 2, which is, of course, orange. We haven't put 1. So A was 1 at the end of the day. We've worked out now. These 2 squares are 4 and 6. I see. Look, we've got a deadly pattern here. That squares a 7, which is good, because that adds up to 8, which is enough. And we've got a deadly pattern, but it's resolved by this. This is beautiful. This 10 cage, if it only added up to 7, it wouldn't be, it should have been a 5 cage. And that's going to finish it. Now, is that right? Yes. Solve count of 52. It's taken me an hour. Yeah, okay, well, that's not surprising. It was challenging. Definitely it was challenging. It's brilliant. 52 people have solved that in one day. That's another fabulous, fabulous puzzle from Icy Fruit. Honestly, I mean, if the channel was just doing Icy Fruit puzzles, I think it would be, well, for me, it would be really entertaining. I love this person's puzzles. They are very, very clever and interesting. It was quite an entertaining sort of pencil marking exercise, wasn't it? You had to sort of you didn't know exactly where the digits were, but you knew the sort of areas that they had to occupy, and that was enough to engineer our way to a solution. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.